Okay, again, good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Glow here. I'm the CEO and founder of the Daisy Dream Project. Thank you for joining me this afternoon for a riveting workshop on potty training, stress-free transition from diapers to underwear. So I've been working in early childhood for like the last 20 some odd years, and I'm excited to do this workshop because I believe that all children can be potty trained usually before they're around their second birthday or definitely by 2.5. This is also including children with developmental delays. So if you're struggling to doing potty training, this is the place for you to be as an educator or as a parent. We're going to go through this workshop and answer any questions you may have along the way. Again, this is being recorded because some people who are watching this after will be watching via the YouTube channel. And at the end of this, you'll find information on how to reach out to the Daisy Dream Project or myself in support of your potty training journey. We also provide parent coaching, parent support, and we also come into homes to help you build out your potty training process to support you through this type of work. As if they're watching as an educator, we provide insight workshops with your staff as well to support them with their potty training journey and to how supporting them on how to support their parents. So let's go ahead and jump into this presentation. Okay, so there's three specific goals that we're going to be talking about during this presentation. The first one is understanding readiness, right? You're going to learn to recognize the signs that indicate a child is ready for potty training, including physical, emotional, cognitive clues. You will also learn about teaching effective techniques, right? I'm going to teach you some effective techniques. We'll provide step-by-step potty training methods that are developmental appropriate and encourage consistency, patience, and positive reinforcement. And lastly, we're going to build confidence, right? We want to provide you with tools and strategies to handle common potty training challenges such as accidents, resistance, regression, and create a stress-free environment for the child themselves, okay? So we're going to go ahead and move over to the next slide. So really, honestly, this is just going to be a simple ways on how we can get children potty trained. Okay. So there's three different signs of readiness when we're talking about potty training. There's physical readiness, emotional readiness, and then cognitive readiness. So sometimes when we have children, all children develop at different rates. So all children may not be physically ready to be potty trained. Some kids may not be emotionally ready to potty train, and cognitively, children have to be in tune with the process of potty training. Now, for me, I think a lot of people get caught into, especially children with developmental delays, around the cognition of being ready to potty train. So then they don't attempt to process at all. But their bodies physically might be there, and emotionally, they may not be there either. So you got to see, sometimes you got to play with these three different signs of readiness and put them all together because it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's most situations you will hope that the kid is physically ready, they're emotionally ready, and they're cognitive ready, right? All things never happen at once. So you need to be able to identify with, okay, so emotionally they're a little not ready, but physically they're really there, and cognitively they might be out to lunch. And that's okay because all kids develop in different ways. But we need to also ensure that we're strengthening the child in those particular areas that they are lacking. So we're going to go through how to actually strengthen the child in those particular areas that they might not be ready in to support our potty training process. Okay. Physical. Now I picked this particular pretty child here for physical development, right? A readiness of potty training. Now, this child probably is about 6 months old. Now, are they ready to start using the potty? No, right? And so sometimes we may start too early. Now, do I mean that you don't start talking about potty training with your infant? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can't have expectations that their body is physically ready to start this process. That does not mean you don't start actually having conversations and giving the language to your younger child around pottying. I believe that children should start learning about the potty training process as early as 3 to 4 months old. And it's simple. It's a very simple task when they're that young. We're talking to them like, oh, your diaper is wet. Oh, you pooped today. I'm going to clean your bottom. These are your legs, right? When they're in the bathtub, hey, soon you're going to be in the bathtub. You're going to sit on the potty. And then even when they start getting older, around 10, 11 months old, you can set their little butts on it. You want to try to pee pee in the potty today? And just put them on it and see how they feel about it, right? If they're nervous, because it's going to help introduce them that potty training is something that's natural. It's like eating food is part of your level of independence. And sometimes as parents or caregivers, what we do is we wait too long and then we say, okay, now they're 2.5, let's start now. No, because the kid is going to be in shock. The kid is going to be completely in shock because they're not used to the process. It hasn't become part of their normal day to day. So signs that a child is physically ready starts a lot with staying dry for longer periods of time. So by the time a child is about 18 months, in between 18 months and 2 years old, you're going to start noticing that their diaper is going to be dry for extended periods, right? They're not soaking wet all day long. So when they actually do use the bathroom, they're wetting their diapers so bad that they have to come off because there's so much in it at a time. So throughout the day that they're dry. So if you're noticing that 2 hours during the day, the child is dry, or they're waking up from naps and they're dry, they're over ready for potty training if they're waking up for naps and they're dry. Showing awareness of bodily functions, okay? They might be showing physical signs like squatting or making facial expressions when they need to go. They're showing discomfort. This thing about showing discomfort with a dirty diaper is potty train me now 101. If a child is taking off a dirty diaper or wet diaper, they're very annoyed with the feeling of it. They are showing that they are aware that they don't want this on their body. They're telling you in their way that they're ready to get it off. And you can start seeing these types of signs around 15, 16 months. You'll start getting kids who's kind of like, yo, take this wet diaper off of me. And if your child is physically going to get a diaper for you to change them, you just need to buy them some underwear because they are already past this mark of being physically, cognitively, emotionally ready. Cognitive. Children who can understand simple instructions, right? If a child can follow basic directions like go to the bathroom, sit on the potty, indicates they can process a step of potty training. Now, I talk a lot in some of my other trainings and workshops about around cognition for young children and increasing independence of young children. Now, you can sit here and go, so a 12-month-old, if you taught them appropriately, go to the bathroom, put this here. If your children are in an adequate supportive environment, an early childhood setting, a supporting environment, they automatically should have these understanding of simple instructions because the education that they're receiving is providing these very, very simple instructions. So if you have a child who seems like they're struggling with following directions, they're going to struggle with the potty training process. So one of the goals that you should be making for this particular child is following simple directions. Go put your shoes on, hang your jacket up, put this toy where it belongs, put this where this belongs. Even when we're teaching children to clean up at a younger age, what you're also doing is helping them learn step by step by step how things go. When they're 6 months old, you say, oh, we're going to wash your hands. Here, let's turn on the water, wet your hands, put soap on your hands. Now rub your hands, rinse your hands. Now dry your hands. When we do that with very young children, but you're teaching them to follow steps. It's the same thing as when it's time for them to go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, pull down your pants, lift up the toilet seat, sit on the toilet, use the bathroom, wipe yourself. Come off the toilet. Now wash your hands, put soap in your hands. It's all about step-by-step process. Children can do it. If we are consistent around it, children can learn it. But it's all about how are we encouraging them to follow step-by-step directions. Children who are aware of cause and effect. A child who begins to understand that using the potty results is clean and dry is showing cognitive ability to connect their actions to outcomes. Meaning that they know for a fact that if I go get you this diaper, you're going to, and the wipes, you're going to take this dirty thing off of me and you're going to give me a clean one. Okay. They are aware of that. So the direction should be, no, okay, yes, you had an accident in your diaper, but here's where we want to go. We want to be in the bathroom. This is where we want you to use the bathroom. And this is what's going to happen because if you go in here, you never get dirty. or at least not to the same effect of doing it on their full body. You never get dirty. You don't have that awkward feeling of wet. You don't have that awkward feeling I pooped on myself when you put it in the toilet. So children understand that. So using the language and giving it to them, they'll start realizing, okay, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. And they'll make the choice. Emotional. This is the hardest one I find. Emotional. This is the hardest one to support when it comes down to supporting our children, when it comes down to potty training, right? So children who are emotionally ready, they show pride and independence. They start wanting to do everything for themselves. So if your kids is picking out their own clothes, telling you what shoes they want to wear, and they're feeding themselves, which we know can start happening at 18 months, they are ready to start learning about the potty training process, because potty training is all about that level of independence. I don't need you to change me. I don't need you to do anything. I can do it for myself. And when you have that go-getter child who wants to do it for themselves, we have to support that. So I'm going to take it outside of potty training for you for a minute. So when we're talking about that go-getter child, right? So a child that we want to dream, a child that we want to be able to accomplish things in life, we need them to be a go-getter. And how we're going to get them to be a go-getter is by supporting their opportunities for independence. If we're constantly telling them, no, go get a diaper, or you're too tired to potty train them, or you're too tired to do anything with them because of it's just exhausting and emotionally you can't handle it as the adult, all you're doing is telling that child is that you don't believe in them. You don't believe that they can handle this. They need you to believe and everything that they're going through. They need you to believe that they can handle this process. They need you to believe that they got it. And that's one of the biggest things that you have to do as a parent when we're talking through this potty training process. You have to believe in them, and they will believe in themselves. And again, I'm going to bring up emotional again, because this is the biggest sign that they're ready, is when they start getting frustrated about their diaper being wet or being dirty, or if you notice that they're hiding in a closet to use the bathroom and things of that nature, is because emotionally they don't even want you to check them out anymore when they're pooping. So that just means that, in a lot of cases that they want privacy. So you can teach them that the bathroom's a private place. Bathrooms, you get a lot of privacy in the bathroom. So if you are concerned with, your level of privacy, go in the bathroom and you're going to be okay. You can handle your business in there. It's a private space. How many adults hide in the bathroom? I hide in the bathroom all the time. So so put that as an option for children, because sometimes they need a space where they can be safe. Now, a lot of families, they have this craziness where they like to put the potty next to the TV in the middle of the living room so they have access. I in some cases, yes, I do see why you want to do that, but bathrooming belongs in the bathroom, right? So you want to be clear with them and give them very clear messages about what is the expectation. Is the expectation is that when they're 6, that they're pottying in front of their TV, in front of the living room? No, not necessarily. But if you want to say your bathroom is really far away, you want to give them multiple places where they can potentially use the bathroom, those things are okay. But let's stick to the fact that pottying is meant to go in the bathroom, and they can handle it by going in the bathroom. Okay? So this is the most longest winded slide in part of this whole thing, right? I'm currently also writing a full ebook on this material. It's going to be more in depth around some of the things you can do. And the most important thing is about choosing the right approach. There are 3 different approaches that you can go towards the potty training process. So I like to look at all the different approaches, because each child is different, because all children are individuals. No child gets anything done the same way. So the first approach is the child-oriented method, right? You introduce the concept gradually. I believe that the child needs to be on board. So I think no matter if you're going to schedule potty time, or you go into an intensive weekend method, the child-oriented method is where you always should start, because we want them to make the choice for themselves, right? So when you're starting around that 18-month mark, you should be talking to them about introducing what potty training is. Let's go observe family members or role models using the bathroom. Allow familiarization with the potty. Let them play with their potty if they have a potty. Let them flush the toilet. Kids love flushing toilets. Let them flush the toilet. It might kill your water bill a little bit, but you're going to be okay. It's going to show them give them some interest in the actual process. Encourage potty time at their own pace. Invite the child to sit down without a diaper at regular intervals. So when they get up in the morning at 18, 19, 20 months old, hey, let's go to the bathroom, sit them on the toilet. They may not do anything. It's not about them actually going. It's about them getting used to the process. And as educators, some of the educators we might have who are viewing this webinar, we also sometimes we say, well, they're not really ready, so I'm not even going to try with them. That's not the case. You still have to show them, okay, this is what it is. Even if they're changing their pull-ups, try to use the bathroom and constantly encourage them until they start realizing, okay, this is what it is. Support them through accidents. Accidents happen. Now I'm one to tell you, kids who you know should be going to the bathroom have accidents. I have very mature conversation with them. Very mature conversation. And the conversation will go something like this. You had an accident, didn't you? And sometimes they're sad and everything else. I said, don't be sad. I want you to really explain to me what happened. What happened? Why didn't you make it to the bathroom? And ask them those types of questions. What is going on? And then ask them, how can I support you next time to make sure you get to the bathroom? Nothing punitive, but also they need to understand that it's not okay. Right? You're in this process. And we can sit here and say, well, accidents are okay. Then you have a kid's gonna be peeing and pooping themselves all day long, right? Because it's okay. No, it's not okay, right? Mistakes happen, but how can I support you so you're not choosing to constantly make this same mistake? And what we do is we talk to them about reward systems, and we're going to talk a little about that in a later slide. Again, because I'm going to celebrate small successes, offer small reward for any progress. Do not use food. Find something that they love. Don't use food. We don't want to use food as reward systems because that's why we suffer from obesity these days out here in the United States. So don't use food as a reward. Stickers work well. You don't have stickers, get yourself a nice washable marker and draw hearts on their hands. Offer them, okay, maybe we'll read an extra book tonight at reading time because you should be reading to your children at least 20 minutes at night. Either you're reading to your children or they're reading to you for 20 minutes. All those things matter. Okay. Another thing, so say the child is not really getting it with this child-oriented method, and it seems like you're just going nowhere. You've been talking to them since they're 18, 19, 20 months old, and they're just not getting it. Now they're like 2.2 and a half. You're like, yo, what is going on? Dr. Glow said I should be able to do this by 2 with the child-oriented method. It's not happening. Then you get yourself into scheduled potty time. All right, especially if they're not getting it. So now we got to start, they need more structure, this particular child. So you're going to set regular potty times. Schedule specific times throughout the day to take your child to the potty, such as after waking up, before meals, before bed, and make it regular, right, that they need to go. So, hey, you just had lunch, let's go try to use the bathroom. Oh, you finish your whole sippy cup of juice. You know what? Let's try to use the bathroom and make it constant. And you got to remind yourself of it. Now, you also got to be consistent. This is the hard part for parents with lack of consistency, right? You need to be consistent. You need to ensure that you're paying attention to what you set as a schedule. Put a reminder on your phone, put post-its around the house, on the refrigerator, in the bathrooms, and anywhere in your phone. Like even if you're in a potty training schedule, put a reminder in your phone, set your alarm to go off every 30 minutes to remind your child to go to the bathroom. If you're binging, watching Netflix on Sunday, you still got to get up every 30 minutes of your potty training to take the child to the bathroom, right? Encourage them sitting on the potty, celebrate successes, adjust the base on progress, right? So once they start going, then start reducing it. Then maybe it's once an hour. If they start having accidents in between, then you go back to 30 minutes. If it's that they're still dry, then you extend it to maybe an hour and 15 minutes. It shouldn't be any child under the age of 4 really should be going to the bathroom every 45 minutes to an hour. And even the stronger kids, once you realize they're making it 2 hours at nap time, then maybe every 2 hours. If you have a child who is having accidents, then they need more reminders. They're still children. They're still very young children. So you want to give them reminders about this process. Okay. Intensive weekend method. This is my favorite. This is for my Hail Mary type people who we just not getting it done. Now, if you are an educator, this is the best method that some parents need because they need an intensive weekend to get it done. You, as the educator, may have already been working on it on a consistent basis because you have done the child-oriented method. You already have scheduled potty time. To get that parent on board, you might have to convince them for the intensive weekend method. Now, the intensive weekend method, it's a doozy. So it's where you get rid of all diapers and you just go straight into underwear for like at least 72 hours and the child is potty trained. So you prepare the environment. You set up for a child-friendly potty in a central area in the home. This is where you might have one in front of the TV because they're just not getting it. You dress for success. They have on easy to remove clothing like underwear quickly so they can quickly get to the potty. I even like children to be nude. It's their own home, especially if not wintertime. My potty training season, honestly, I love potty training. Like March 1st comes. March 1st comes, and that's like potty training season for me in between March 1st and like September 15th because it's the warmest. It's the warmest in your home, it's the warmest time. So this is the best time that you'll be able to definitely get them potty trained for the most part during a potty training weekend. So watch for cues and prompt frequently. Closely observe the signs that these go, the wiggling, the squatting. If you know they're hiding in that favorite corner, or if you haven't seen them in a while, or you know you fed them and you forgot to remind them, it's time for them to go to the bathroom. Potty training weekends, you are doing every 15 minutes to 30 minutes until they go to the bathroom. When they use the bathroom, you have to give them a reward, right? Because they're going so often, they're going to be annoyed with you telling them they're going so often. For educators watching this, there's the same thing. So every time that they go, you have to give them a reward. You have to give them an incentive. They have to feel like, okay, I still can do this. Like when you go to the gym as an adult and you're working out, trying to release this weight, when you're releasing the weight, what are the things that was an incentive for you? Oh my goodness, I released 3 pounds. Oh my goodness, this feels tighter. Oh my goodness, I can wear these pants again. Those are the rewards that you're looking for. And what happens? You get happy about it, and then you continue to go back and back and back, and you continue to go to the gym. It's the same thing for children. We can't have the expectation that we want them to follow any form of directives, any form of directions, and we're not requiring ourselves to give them some type of incentive. Again, the incentive should not be food and candy. Those are not incentives, okay? Things that are useful for your children. Useful for the children are, stickers are cool, right? Coloring is cool. Make Play-Doh with them. Okay, let's not have any accidents for 2 days. And then on Wednesday, when you come home from school, we're gonna make homemade Play-Doh, just me and you. Quality time is the greatest bribe for your child. All your children really want to do is spend time with you. Even as an educator, every child has their favorite educator in their classroom. Every child does. So it might be that, hey, if once you start potty training, you do everything else. Do you know what my reward is? When all the other children go outside, you get to hold my hand. They're going to go because they want to be rewarded around those things. One of my nieces go to my programs and she's completely articulate and was struggling to use the bathroom. So I had to give her a real reward because we tried the child oriented, it wasn't working. Scheduled potty time wasn't working. They did an intensive weekend method. So then I had to tap in and I told her, I love you, but you can't come back to my house until you start going to the bathroom. A couple of weeks later, she came in, I'm using the bathroom. I'm only in underwear. Right. But it also took her parents getting on because I had to tell her every day, you can't come back to my house until you use the bathroom. So now this child is wearing underwear and she understands that she can come to my house. And she reminds me, Auntie, can I come to your house because I'm using the bathroom? Yes, you can. That's a reward for her because they want to spend time with you. But we need you. You're over 3. We need you out of this diaper. It's not even healthy for your body parts for you to be wet in a diaper. As an adult, do you want to sit in a wet diaper? Figure when you're wet, how do you feel? It's not very comfortable and it's not even good for you physically. So yes, so we encourage children to get there. Stay patient and stay consistent, okay? Because accidents are going to happen. Yes, I know that page is a mouthful. You will get a copy of this video so you can rewatch it later. For those of you watching YouTube, please look out for the drop of the potty training ebook. It will be out soon. Okay, go to my next slide. Okay, so here, using visual supports and social stories. Okay, so visual supports, like up here, we have an example of a potty chart. So my potty chart, this chart, I know there's a little blurred on the bottom, so it's very simple. You can make these very simply on Canva. If you need an example of a potty chart, please let me know and I'll give you one. Now, this one is made for like stars or stickers or X marks, and where the child can get a reward after they've completed pottying at a certain amount of times, right? Children need visual aids, okay? Children need visual aids, and they need to see why and how they're winning. So who remembers being on an honor roll when you were in elementary school, right? My school was cool. When you was on the honor roll, your name got listed in the hallway. It was in the hallway, the high honor roll and then the other honor roll, right? And you got listed in the hallway, and everybody who walked past when they came into school, they was able to see your name. And it was like the biggest competitive thing of all. That's why I love growing up in the 90s, because we competed. Everything was about competition. Now they have this, oh, we don't want anybody to feel bad. Yes, I'm about that. I'm all into like social, emotional, all that into stuff. But I think children also need to be rewarded for what they do well, right? I feel that people need to be rewarded for what they're doing right. And if we're not rewarding them, then what is the incentive of continuing to do that? And that even works with adults. So we want to make sure with children that we're giving them visual supports on how they are doing and what is their progress. So if you have a 3-year-old who is struggling at school, right, and we want to talk to them about how to improve on using the bathroom, then we want to sit there and we want to talk with them potentially around, listen, if you get 5 straight days of no accidents at school, this is the reward. We'll go to the Children's Museum. We'll go over to the Daisy Dream Gym on Saturday, or we'll make Play-Doh together. We'll do something that the children to celebrate their progress during that time. Again, thank you for everybody who has joined the potty training workshop. Please make sure please mute yourself. Thank you, and stay muted. This is being recorded. Thank you so much. Sorry, I went the wrong way. Oh, here I go. Next thing. Now, Daisy Dream Project and Dr. Glow, I love children with differing abilities, especially children with autism. Now, in your programs, especially right now after COVID, we have a lot of children with diagnosed disabilities, and there's also children who are on the spectrum. Now, just because a child is on the spectrum, that does not mean they should not be potty trained. One of my concerns that I have a lot of the time is when families have children in specialized programs that don't focus on independent skills. This is where you need to be an advocate for your child. If your child is at the age of 4 and 5 and 6 years old and they're not using the bathroom, you need intervention. You need support. And the first thing around that is providing structure. Now, a lot of these children have sensory concerns. We're going to talk about that in the next slide, because I think all children actually have sensory concerns. We're going to discuss that a little bit. But there's 3 things that support children with diagnosed disabilities use the bathroom. The first thing is structure and belief. You have to believe that your child is capable of anything. As the adult, if you do not believe that the child is capable of anything, they will be capable of nothing. And that's flat out the rule. If you're not capable of believing in them, they will not believe in themselves, even children on the spectrum. Okay. Now, children on the spectrum are children with differing abilities. Let me explain something to you. There's a scale called life. Now, they may be low in certain areas. That means that they're also particularly higher in other areas. Now, if a child who has other physical ailments, now that's a different situation where you need to tread lightly with their ability. Their potty training may look different. It might be that if the child is an individual who is wheelchair bound, right? They might be that they have diapers on their whole life, but it doesn't mean that they don't get cues on how to communicate that they need to be changed. So potty training for them may not be that they're going to be able to get up and walk and sit on the toilet and wipe themselves, because some children have differing abilities. But that does not mean that we sit there and ignore them and not support them with trying to come up with cues. It might be with visual supports where they're nonverbal, where they're able to point to they have to go to the bathroom, where they're able to point, I need to be changed, right? They might be able to ring a particular bell or point to a particular color on a chart. There's different things that we can use to support children with differing abilities. Now, predictability, finding out and realizing when do they go to the bathroom? Kids tend to go to the bathroom at the same time. They're very consistent. There's kids who come to my programs who don't use the bathroom here all day long. They don't go number 2 all day long. They save it for their parent. Why? It's probably because my program requires them to sit on the toilet and go. So they save it for home where they don't have to, right? So you have to be, in line with who are the caregivers for your children, and everybody must be on the same page. I can go on for hours around children on the spectrum and other children with differing abilities around lack of support and family connection. Because if the family and the caregivers are not on the same page, nothing's going to happen for any child. So everybody must be on the same plan at the same time, doing the same thing. And that comes with clear communication, that comes with creating structure, that comes with creating a system. So if the school Monday through Friday is taking the child to the bathroom at these particular times, at home, the family needs to know what those times are. So they're doing the same thing on their 2 stay-at-home days. Because if the child does not have that, then the child is going to, every Monday is going to be a brand new start. Because if child was not talked to, the parent was not talked to, or the parent was not supported with the information. So at being an advocate for your child, those of you who want to get your children potty trained, or you have older children who are trying to get potty trained, please reach out to us. Again, we provide parent coaching, we provide in-house services to support you with getting your child clearly potty trained. And we'll also advocate with you and help you meet with your child's educators to support this process with you and give you the tools you need to get this in place. Okay, sorry, I skipped that. All right, addressing sensory sensitivities. There are some common sensory challenges, sounds, textures, or smells that are just funky for human beings just in general. Don't chew too loud next to me. I may not be able to handle it, okay? If you chew too loud next to me. Okay, again, please remember to stay muted during this call. Please stay muted during this call is being recorded. Okay, if you have any questions, please drop questions in the chat and I'll be there to answer all the questions for you. So some tips to address these concerns is using a smaller potty. The big toilet may be too big. All right, it might be too big for them. You might need to put a potty seat on there. You might have to minimize loud flush sounds. They may not flush, okay, because the sound might be scary for them. Some children believe the toilet is going to eat them. Because where does everything that gets flushed down the toilet go? You might need to explain that to them so they clearly understand. Allowing the child to choose preferred toileting items, okay? They may not want to wipe themselves with tissue. It might be too dry. They might want a baby wipe because it's wet. You may not want the baby wipe because it's too wet. So you might want to find what are the things that they want to use. It might be after they do number 2 that they feel the need that they need to bathe right away. Okay, which might be complicated in a school setting, but at home, just put them in a bath. Give them what they need, right? Because we want to encourage them to use the bathroom. So when there's sensory sensitivities around the toilet, it might be that the toilet's too loud for them. You might have to have noise canceling headphones in the bathroom. It might be that when it's time for them to go to the bathroom, they're telling you they want to go to the bathroom, right? And then in the bathroom is, do you want a book? Do you want music? Or do you want your headphones, right? And let them choose what choice they may want. And they'll go in and say, okay, I want my headphones. And we have the headphones ready to put their noise canceling headphones on. They use the bathroom and then they go through washing their hands and all that process. So when you're addressing sensory sensitivities, especially with children with diagnosed disabilities or, differing abilities, I like to call them, it's important to identify what are some of the things that's going to make this process comfortable for them. And school settings, again, once you realize what's working at home, these are also things that can be offered in schools. Noise canceling headphones. They might need to go to the bathroom in a smaller group. It might not be if they're in a 12-1-2 that they can go with all 12 kids, right? They might be that they need to go alone. They have to have their own separate potty schedule outside of the normal potty schedule. It might be overwhelming. They may need more time. They might need a one-to-one to support them with that process. But those are also things for children with IEPs that you can specifically put in their IEP. You can specifically add that to their IEP. Again, you can specifically add that to your child's IEP when it comes down to working on independent skills. If you have any questions around that, I can support you with how to get those particular things added to children's IEPs, especially when they're in some type of specialized programming. Because the goal is that all kids can do it. We just got to figure out how to get it done. And everybody can't do it the same way. Yes, I went over the 3 ways, but when we're talking around children with developmental delays or children, with autism or children who are nonverbal or children who have ADHD or children who have ODD, whatever their diagnosis may be, they can do it. They can do it. I promise you, they can do it. The issue is believing that they can do it and putting the systems in place so they get it done. Okay? Sorry, wrong way there. Let's go to the next slide. So another thing that we want to talk about is ideas for positive reinforcement, right? Specific praise. Say things like, wow, you sat on the potty all by yourself. You're doing such a great job. Highlighting specific actions that help them understand what they're being praised for. Positive reinforcement with excitement. Use enthusiastic expressions like you did. I'm so proud of you. Fly them around. Like this mom right here, this kid, she may have had a dry day today. So now you're a pilot, you're flying. You got to make it cool. You got to make it fun. It can't just be, give me a high five. Kids love high fives, but you got to be enthusiastic about this motivation. You have to be excited about this motivation. You have to act like you just won $1 million on a lottery. That's how you have to make this child feel when they actually win at this process. You have to invest your childlike behaviors in with this child. Dance with them, sing with them, spin them around. Do not bribe them with food and ice cream or candy. I will keep repeating. Ice cream and candy are not rewards. They cause obesity and diabetes. Don't do it. There's other things that are much more gratifying for children. Okay? Again, a note at the bottom. For children with autism, consistency and praise and reward types are important. Avoid pressure. It's not about pressure. It's about celebrating the small steps. So now, yes, this child probably had a winning week, but does that mean that they got to the bathroom, they pulled their pants down, and they still had an accident in front of the toilet? Do we not celebrate that? Yes, we do. We celebrate that. We celebrate that they tried. We celebrate that they went to the right place. We celebrate that they remembered they had to go. We celebrate those things and we reward them. And then we realize that, you know what? I didn't give them an early enough reminder. And you hold yourself accountable in their success. You hold yourself reliable to help them to succeed. Okay? Because we can't sit here and put it all on a 2.5-year-old. We can't put it on a 5-year-old with developmental delays. We have to take some ownership of why our child is not potty. And when you decide to take ownership of it, I'm telling you, you will get it. You will get it done. And if you're not taking ownership, you're not ready to take ownership, then schedule a separate call with me. So let's talk through what the issues you have, or what are the reasons why you are not owning your child's potty experience, why you are encouraging that they still need to be in diapers at 5, 6, 7, and 8 years old just because they have a developmental delay. Let's talk about it. I want to talk with you because there's no reason why. Okay. And if your child is in a learning facility or any type of program that's not supporting your potty training journey, please let me know. Please call a meeting and invite me there, because I want to know why they're not supporting our children with these basic independence skills, because it's not that complicated. Because if they're not doing it and they're there, and you might have them at another program that's trying to do it, we need everybody to be on the same page. And I want to make sure and figure out why the educators in those spaces are not encouraging potty training and independence, because it's important. It's an important life skill that we need to capture at a very young age. Because if you don't, the older they get, the harder it gets to get it done. Didn't mean to stress you all out by taking ownership. Handling setbacks and next steps. Clearly, avoid handling accidents, regression, and fear. Okay? Do not move in fear. You must retain a calm, positive approach and reinforce learning. Now, you see my picture? Because we all know that you might have a rough night potty training. You might have a rough day at work. It causes stress when you're trying to potty train. Potty training can be very complicated if you are not a trained professional at potty training. I'm a trained professional, been doing it for over 20 years. Every child that I have raised has been potty trained by their second birthday. Second birthday. My nieces and nephews also trained very early because Auntie Glow never played that. Okay. So if you want to train your child in that way, follow those steps that I talked about. We talk about supporting them when they're young. Now, you heard me say 6 months old start talking to them about being wet. 6 months old start talking about what's in the bathroom. So start flushing the toilet with them when they're about a year. Around 18 months, start sitting them on the toilet, having them experience it. Even before 18 months, have them sitting there getting comfortable with it so they're not scared of it. Okay, so they're not scared of it. If children are introduced to these things on a consistent basis, it becomes part of their life. And you have to introduce them in very, very small doses. So by the time you're ready to say, okay, are you ready to go? They start peeing and they start pooping in the toilet. And then all of a sudden you hit 2.5, they're not really going. Start really scheduling for them to go because they haven't figured it out on their own. By 2 3/4, if they're 3 months, 90 days from their third birthday, this is when we do the weekend. Let's holler at this weekend, this whole weekend of getting it done, and they will accomplish potty training. I promise you they will. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't know why your kids aren't potty trained, I'm going to answer that question for you. You have the most, who has the most challenges with potty training? You do. It is not the child, no matter the developmental anything. It is not the child, it is you. You are the one why they're not potty trained. For educators, I'm still going to say it's you because you have not supported the family. You have not met with the family enough. You have not holding your families accountable for supporting you with the potty training process. You are responsible for it. As the adult in that child's life, yes, some children will potty train on their own. Hands down, they might sit here and say, okay, I'm 2, I'm over this. I don't want to be wet. I want underwear. Give me some underwear. That's the lucky case. That's not always the case. Children need to be supported. Children need cues. Children need structure. Children need that. And once you chose to bring a child into this world, once you chose to be an early childhood educator, you have chosen to be responsible for making sure that young people succeed. And in order to make sure young people succeed, you need to get over yourself and believe that they can do it, or get yourself the support to help them do it. Align with your educators, align with individuals, or come to the Daisy Dream Project and schedule a meeting with us. Hire a coach to come into your household and show you how to do a crazy weekend of potty training. There's different things that you can do to get the support. Go and ask your agencies for parent coaching. A lot of that stuff, people who are OPWDD can get approvals for parent coaches to come in and actually support you with the potty training process. There's things that you can do, okay? Because you have to believe they can do it and you need to ask for support. So we all want families to be happy, like this happy family on the side over here. So contact us. It's the Daisy Dream Project. I am Dr. Gloria Pope. You can email me at info@daisydreamproject.org. You can call our Century Gym directly at 914-804-1788, or you can visit our website, www.daisydreamproject.org. Again, thank you for tuning in for this workshop. For those of you who are watching this live on Zoom, please hold on. I'm gonna answer some questions for you as soon as I stop recording. But thank you again. For those of you who are watching this on Instagram, please leave a comment on the bottom. Let us know how this is working for you. If you have any, please also look out for the ebook that will be dropping in the next couple of weeks for potty training for them. And we also will be having coloring books and some other resources for children who have sensory concerns around how to get potty done. If you're interested in booking a private session with me to talk about your potty training journey, please again use this email that's listed here to do so. Until the next workshop, I'll see you again. Thank you for watching. Sure.